you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. A people without knowledge of their past, history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. Men who are earnest, but not afraid of their consequences. They try to put my soul in a black hole, but didn't realize this melanin is gold. That's why I shine with this little light of mine.
Let's go. No time to wait. Oh man. You're now tuned into Civics for the Culture, hosted by me, Bennie, aka Poeticlee Williams, on Watch LOTUS X. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a politician. However, I'm someone just like you that has access to information, a lot of information out here. Access to information to become more educated, to become more insightful, and to really understand this system that we're in, understand this government through the policies and politics and politricks and all these different things that go on that really here. If you realize this land is stolen land, I'm gonna say that every show. This land is stolen land built off slaves. So if you understand that, then you understand there was once upon a time where the system was actually created to go against people of color. We go into that. We get straight to it right here on this show, Civics for the Culture. And today, so typically this, what I would talk about is things on a civic case or group organization or an event. However, I'm going to switch the course right now to talk about something that's kind of trending, which I kind of stay away from trending topics and kind of form it into something that we can always learn from. You know, history is important, but this right here is very historic as well. So, the talk about Mr. Kanye West running for a 2020 presidential the presidential race is very interesting, right? And part of me is like, do I really want to talk about this? Part of me is like, do I want to talk about, like, should we really put time into talking about this? But we must, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a timeline of Mr. West comments and his action that I'm going to read here that I've got information from Billboard. Just reading an article from Billboard as they posted an article. Actually, let me pause this. When they actually posted this article, I want to say, okay, July 6th. Okay, perfect. So they just posted this, and I'm going to read, which I think was very well done, an article, how they wrote just a timeline describing Kanye West's actions, comments towards anything that may have been dealt with on the political scene, right? So you may ask, why are you spending time talking about this? This is important. We're seriously in a time where we can't play games, right? We can't joke around about action on the front line of civil rights. Like, it's those times to play around. Okay, we've heard him talk about it in the past. It was cool. All right, that was fine. That was then. Now, through the killings of Black people, through this pandemic. I mean, we have two pandemics. We have a pandemic of being Black in America and the violence and systemic issues that comes with, along with the individual issues that comes with, along with the trauma that comes with. Then we have a pandemic of an invisible virus that can harm, that you may not can be affected by, but you can pass it along and harm others that you may care about. You may not care about, but you can still harm someone else. We're all walking just whatever right now. So we have those two things happening as we're entering a time where leadership is changing, as we're entering a time where technology is changing, as we're entering a time where the idea of who we are as people and who we've been in this country is revolutionizing. When you have statues coming down, we have laws being changed, we have murals of Black Lives Matter painting the streets. So with these happening right now, this is a time where we have to be serious and we have to be focused and we have to be driven and focused and all hands on deck about what's needing to take place as far as our civic duties, as far as our moral duties, and far as just our principal duties of humanity and strategically being able to say, hey, we need to do this as a community. Hey, we need to start doing this. We need to start learning like this. It's one of the reasons, right, on LOTUS X. Watch LOTUS X. All the content on watch LOTUS X. On LOTUS X, I'm going to keep saying it, LOTUS X is built to rebirth in your purpose to live. And I have to go on that rant because when we get distracted by seeing idols, when we get distracted by seeing celebrities, when we get distracted by seeing whoever these people are that we think have quote unquote fame, want to put themselves out to be presidential nominees, it distracts us. It distracts us, especially when these people haven't asserted the commitment and consistency, not just momentary actions, the commitment and consistency in fight and struggle, sacrifice, all that. When you haven't endured that for the civil right and for the civil fight. You know what I'm saying? When we haven't seen that in a consistent and committed time, history and timelines, I'm going to go over this timeline right here. I'm sorry, we cannot get distracted on people that have large platforms that can heavily influence. The reason this is an important topic because Kanye West, you having a large platform and can influence a lot of people. You can influence millions of people. So by you making a decision, you have to be very sound. And how have you shown us that you can be sound in this position? Unlike your counterpart, or I could say your co-buddy now as our president. All right. So as I go through a timeline of Kanye West and I would say his outward expression towards change here in America. You know what? It would not serve right. All right. I'm gonna do this right. I am a previous Kanye West fan musically. All the old, from My Dark Twisted Fantasy to on. I mean, I'm there, right? I'm there. So if I'm going to start this timeline off, I have to do it right by starting off February 10th, 2004. That's right. Jesus Walks. The release of Jesus Walks. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start Kanye West out before we really start getting to this time. I'm going to start him up with a 1 point. Jesus Walks. Matter of fact, that might be 5 points you come out the gate with. Come out with a strong message. I get it. I see it. I get it. I see it. I feel you, right? The message is powerful. The message still resonates today. I mean, you come out strong. Now, as we move down, September the 2nd, 2005, Kanye West declares on national television, following Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, Louisiana, NBC hosted an hour-long star-studded benefit concert titled A Concert for Human Relief. Now, you might remember this, you might not. Kanye stood side by side with comedian actor Mike Myers when he veered off script. And he spoke from the heart. Now, this is Kanye back then. He spoke from the heart. I mean, we saw already come out with Jesus Walks. This is another 5 point. He spoke to the heart about the appropriate funds and just let me go right here. He spoke from the heart about the tragedies facing the Black community in the wake of the storm. George Bush doesn't care about Black people, West said candidly, ultimately cutting his time on screen short. Oh man, Kanye West is coming out the gate. First with Jesus Walks, September the 2nd, 2005, West declares George Bush doesn't care about Black people in historic moment during a concert for hurricane relief. That was in 2005. Now, you may wonder, where's Kanye on the political scene? He comes out with Jesus Walks. He comes out with some more albums talking that talk. You know what I'm saying? Still talking about the life of being fame, but that's 2004, that's 2005. It takes 10 years later. 10 years later, we kind of get some political statements, you know, some real, not just in some bars. I mean, some now he's on the scene, right? So August 5th, 2015, the West take a selfie with Senator Hillary Clinton during her 2016 presidential campaign fundraiser. That's when you start to see Kanye starting to poke his nose out at that presidential circle. Now, in August 30th, 2015, he first announces his 2020 presidential run at the 2015 MTV VMAs. When Taylor Swift presented the coveted Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award to West at the 2015 MTV Video Music Awards, who famously interrupted her acceptance speech at the same awards show just 6 years prior, he took the stage for yet another viral moment. And yes, this is quotes and quotes. And yes, as you probably could have guessed it by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president, West declared at the end of his speech. Thus, Kanye 2020 was born. And what did Trump have to say about his potential opponent? Yeah, end quote. He's actually a different kind of person than people think. He's a nice guy. I hope to run against him someday. He, end quote. He declared in an exclusive interview with Rolling Stone on September the 2nd, 3 days after West made the announcement. So, was something already brewing up? Was something already brewing in the waters for these two to run against each other? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? September 24th, 2015, West gives Vanity Fair an exclusive interview about his 2020 presidential run. Following his onstage stint at the MTV VMAs, the famous rapper, quote, yeah, I get it, pun, no pun, the famous rapper, if you know his songs, you know it, told Vanity Fair in an interview that he was definitely running for president in 2020, and he prefers not to run against someone I would like, and this is in quotes, I would be like, I would want to work with you. I would be like, I would want to work with you. As soon as I heard Carson speak, Ben Carson, I tried for 3 weeks to get on the phone with him. I was like, this is the most brilliant guy. And I think all the people running right now have something that each of the others needs, he said at the time. When responding to fans' positive reactions in his announcement, the rapper said he thinks about what his time in office would look like while he's at the club. And this is in quotes. I sit in clubs and I'm like, wow. I've got 5 years before I go on and run for office, and I've got a lot of research to do. I've got a lot of growing up to do, he said. And that was in September 24th, 2015, 5 years ago. No, almost 5 years ago. Shoot, maybe he could have did all that research. Maybe Kanye could have did all that research and grown up. I don't know. 5 years, it's like when you break up with that person. You know what? They had time to grow up. Did they? Did they really do some research? Did they really do some learning? Did they really do some reflection in 5 years to learn about Senate, to learn about international affairs, to learn about domestic issues here? Come on, did they really learn about Congress? Did they really learn about passing bills? I'm sure he went through a whole deep dive of a civic course that people spend their lives studying in 5 years. I'm pretty sure he did that, right? I'm pretty sure he's shown us that, right? All right. So in November 17th, 2016, he tells concert goers that he didn't vote in the 2016 election, but he would have picked Trump during the St. Pablo tour. So this person right now, and this is what I want to stop right now too. This was on November 17th, 2016. And now we start to get a timeline of his bromance with President Trump. So all those people right now that are saying they would vote for Kanye right now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You are the same people that probably didn't vote in 2016. And let's just be honest, you weren't going to vote this year. Let's just keep it 100. All the people that are saying they're going to vote for Trump, they're going to vote for Kanye. All the people that say you're going to vote for Kanye, you probably weren't going to vote this year, right? Which ultimately leads to a vote for President Trump, which we've seen how that's going, right? We've seen his remarks towards people of color. We've seen his remarks towards people of any kind of group, right? We've seen his actions. We've seen him appoint judges that are kind of what you would say, and I'll say too, may have some racist tendencies. So we've seen his actions against police brutality. We've seen his acts against the killings of Black people. We've seen his comments. So this person right here would have picked him right here. That means they have some kind of understanding. That means they have something that they share with this person. So while you're saying, hey, I'm going to vote for Kanye, I just want you to meditate on that. So while performing at St. Jose's SAP Center during his 2016 St. Pablo tour run, The Life of Pablo, he said right here in quotes on his platform, I told y'all I didn't vote, right? But I didn't tell you, dun, dun, dun. But if I would have I would have voted for Trump, he told the audience, who engaged in a mixed chorus of applause and booing. He later specifically addressed Black people in his speech, saying, "Stop focusing on racism. This world is racist, okay? Let's stop being distracted to focus on that as much. Let's stop being distracted to focus on that as much. It's just a fucking fact. We are in a racist country, period. And not one or the other candidate was going to instantly be able to change that because of their views." That's what he said. That's what he said. Stop focusing on racism. To his Black people, stop focusing on racism. This world is racist. Okay. Now, this is the same person that in 2005. Let me just go back in time because we're doing this timeline. This is the same person in 2005 that declared George Bush doesn't care about Black people when it was about the hurricane relief in Katrina. So, if we should we stop? I don't know. Tell me, Kanye, where are you now? Where are you really? And why should we stop focusing on racism? I think that's dangerous in its own. No, we have to focus on racism because this system is built off racism. This system is built on stolen land. This system is built on slaves that you have ancestors connected to, that I have ancestors connected to. This land right here is built off colonizers, rapists, terrorists. How deep do we want to go? So yes, we have to focus on racism because racism is the reason you have redlining. Racism is the reason why you still have police brutality, whether people want to admit it or not. I'm sorry. That doesn't click for me. So once again, if you're voting for Kanye, what are you really saying to yourself? How are you really looking yourself in the mirror? Are you just voting for college dropout? Or are you actually voting for the person that goes to sleep, that made that college dropout, just made an album versus that person, and just that, who's that real person? You know, what are you really voting for? So in December 13th, 2016, Trump meets with West at the rapper's request at Trump Tower in New York City. All right. So after being hospitalized in LA from exhaustion and sleep deprivation, West met up with the president at Trump Tower in NYC. The two shared an awkward embrace in front of reporters, asking the rapper if he still planned on running for president in 2020 and if he planned on performing at Trump's upcoming inauguration at the time. What did Trump say? What did Kanye say in quotes? And look how I get them mixed up. "I just want to take a picture right now," he replied with a grin. Trump told the surrounding press they've been friends for life and were simply discussing life that morning. So I want to just say, as I'm going through this timeline, I've discussed more about what his antics towards politics, photos, being on tour, and telling people how they should stop focusing on racism, taking selfies, saying that you're going to run for president. However, what is truly your platform? You know, how are you truly? And I want to talk about some momentary moments you've had. You've had some momentary moments, Kanye. I will give that to you. You've spent money. I've seen you I've seen you at one march. Could be more. Has there been more? Someone correct me. Someone correct me. But that was 2020 this year. So I'm at one march. All right, cool. We're going to get into why we need civic leadership versus just famed leadership. This isn't time just to have famed leadership. You know, we need actual civic and moral leaderships right now. Leaders that have been building platforms, that have spent their life dedicated to fighting for this. Not just someone that just woke up one night and said, you know what, man, let's do it. 2020, Kanye, the yay vision. Come through with the yay mask on. No, you know, it sounds cute, but we don't need that distraction right now because we really need to be focused on how all hands on deck can be created. This network right here, LOTUS X, was created so we can have all hands on deck. Kanye, you had the capability now to create all hands on deck. How are you influencing some structure ideas at Adidas? Let's keep going through the timeline. On April 25th, 2018, West sporadically sounds off about Trump, Clinton, and former President Barack Obama in political Twitter thread. And this is what he said, right? Obama was in office for 8 years and did nothing for Chicago and did nothing in Chicago. Obama was in office for 8 years and nothing in Chicago changed. All right. So I'm going to quickly do this real quick because that sentiment right there shows me this is the person. So you want to vote for Kanye? You want to vote for Kanye? You're voting for someone that doesn't do their research. All right, I'm just doing fact based. I'm not doing judgment. I'm not being judgy. I'm not judging Kanye's character. I don't know what he studies, but let's just call it for what it is. This is fact based. When you tweet Obama was in office for 8 years and nothing changed, nothing in Chicago changed, you're belittling how his duty was for the whole country, and some would say the world, and you're neglecting what he did in his time in his life in Chicago and the state of Illinois before that. So in Illinois legislature, Obama's time in legislature initially was frustrating. Why? Especially as a black man growing up, Republicans controlled the Senate, the state Senate, and many of his black Democrat colleagues resented the hardball tactics he employed against Palmer, which was a former, if I'm gonna go back right here, Alice Palmer, who ran for Congress. She was in the Illinois legislator right before Barack Obama, and this was in 19. I want to make sure I give you the dates right here. And this was in 1996. Yeah, 1996. So when you go back, and I'm going to read a little bit from the Miller Center, which talks about his time as in the state legislature in Illinois, in Illinois, where let's see here, right here. I'm going to read this. So he adapted developing cordial personnel relations with legislators of both parties and cultivating Senate Democratic leader Emil Jones Jr., another African-American senator from Chicago, as a mentor. Obama was able to get campaign finance reform and crime legislation enacted even when his party was in the minority. And after 2002, when the Democrats won control of the Senate, he became a leading legislator on a wide range of issues, passing nearly 300 bills aimed at helping children, old people, labor unions, and the poor. So I'm gonna read that one more time. Read that one more time for you, Kanye. I don't know if you listen. Probably don't listen. I don't know. What do you listen to? But anybody out there is voting for Kanye, I want to read this for you again, because when Kanye tweets, are you really doing your research? When he tweets that Obama hasn't done anything for Chicago, do you really did you really know? Like, because if you're gonna run for this position, that means you kind of have an awareness of everything that's going on. So Obama was able to get campaign finance reform and crime legislation enacted even when his party was in the minority. And after 2002, when the Democrats won control of the Senate, he became leading legislator on a wide range of issues, passing nearly 300 bills aimed at helping children, old people, labor unions, and the poor. This is why this was his time. And in Illinois legislature, Illinois, got tongue tied in legislation. So, yeah, are we really doing our research? On April 27, 2018, West drops Ye vs. the People, a track featuring T.I. that defends Trump and backs himself as a potential presidential candidate. West hit the booth with T.I. Hit the booth with T.I. to drop the political charge song Ye vs. the People that outlines right in the first verse how he sees the presidential sequence going. I know Obama was heaven. This is in his quotes in the songs. I know Obama was heaven sent, but ever since Trump won, it proved that I can be president. Come on, you could have better. You could have wrote that better. But anyway, the back and forth between both rappers debate that all black people don't have to identify as Democrats, and that is 1,000% sure. That is 1,000% correct. Kanye, you got another point right there. Yes, all black people don't have to identify as Democrats, but damn, all black people don't have to also be blind and drink the Kool-Aid that is going around that Trump is what is he supposed to be, Kanye? You tell us now, what is he, and can you tell us about your decisions before supporting him? That'll be interesting. People that are voting for Trump. I mean, people that are voting for Kanye, I keep getting them mixed up because it's basically the same thing, right? I want you, people that are voting for Kanye, I want you to ask yourself, are you really voting for Trump secretly? May 1st, 2018, West declares slavery. This is where he heats up. Slavery sounds like a choice. In controversial clip during TMZ newsroom outbreak, West stopped by TMZ's office to share his unfiltered filtered political opinions yet again with the founder, Harvey Levin, and co-executive producer, Charles. He said he felt, in quote, this is in quotes, he felt a freedom wearing the red Make America Great Again hat. In a sense, deleted Twitter selfie with Universal Music Group CEO Lucien Grange and 300 Entertainment CEO founder Leah Cohen. I just love Trump. That's my boy, West said. And if you don't know, there was a photo where all of them had, where he had the MAGA hat on. While speaking and I guess Kanye went to TMZ to speak for Black people. I guess, I don't know. Kanye, does Kanye speak for the Black community? I guess that's what he went to TMZ to do. So while he went there, in quotes, this is what he said about slavery. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice, in quotes. He told Levin and Charles while chuckling during the TMZ live interview. And of course, we know Van Lathan then fired him up if you didn't go look at Kanye at TMZ. So once again, 2018, this was 2 years ago. Now, going back 5 years ago, Kanye said he was in the club thinking, man, this was people that are voting for Kanye. This was your president. This is person that you want to go for. And I mean, we've all been in the club. We've all been somewhere thinking like, damn, man, I really got to sharpen up. Like, damn, man, it's time for me to really wise up. 5 years ago to be president. 2 years ago saying, hey, slavery sounds like a choice. My ancestors, they really could have dipped. Yeah, they could have dipped. Why were they out there? Ask yourself, people that are voting for Kanye, are you really voting? Are you voting to be ignorant? Are you voting for Trump? Which I guess would be the same thing. I don't know. You tell me. Maybe you just misinformed. Maybe that's what I'm here for. Maybe I'm just here to bring you some information. Maybe you didn't know these things. Maybe you listened to Jesus Walks. I started off in 2004 with Jesus Walks, talking about Kanye, and that was 5 points for him right there. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you just needed some information, and I got you. Maybe after you listen to the show, you'll understand that, hey, this is it. This is the move right here. This can't be the move right here. This can't be the smartest thing to do. This can't be the humane thing to do for my people, because we're going to get into that and how would he work with Congress. So, and on Kanye's Twitter on September 30th in 2018, while he's wearing the MAGA hat, and he's got to let people know why he's wearing it. This represents good and America becoming whole again. This is his tweet right here. What I'm reading. We will no longer outsource to other countries. We will build factories here in America and create jobs. We will provide jobs for all who are free from prisons as we abolish the 13th Amendment. Message sent with love. So much. All right. So this is what hold on. I got it. All right. So let me pull this up, because I want to make sure I read this right here. I want to make sure I read this again. All right. So let me read back to this. This is Kanye's Twitter about wearing the MAGA hat. This represents good and America becoming whole again. We will no longer outsource to other countries. We will build factories here in America and create jobs. We will provide jobs for all who are free from prisons as we abolish the 13th Amendment. So do you know what the 13th Amendment is, Mr. West? First off, I want to say congratulations. Yes, we want to create more jobs here in America. We want to how can I say? We definitely want to build opportunities of workforce here in America that can supply the civilians and citizens of America, so that we can all have opportunities to create incomes for ourselves. You are absolutely right, and I could never disagree with you with that. However, let me read what the 13th Amendment in simple terms. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. Man. It's complicated on so many. It's complicated on so many levels. Because you say you want to abolish the 13th Amendment, and the 13th Amendment abolished slavery and involuntary servitude. However, the 13th Amendment, we're going to do an episode on that because that gets tricky when you look at prisons, and that is even tricky when it's statement, who are free from prisons as we abolish 13th Amendment. I'm confused. So once again, people that are voting for Kanye, what are you really voting for? I gotta look at you different. I gotta understand now, what are you really after? Is there something secret is there something hidden within your psyche that through Kanye you can get something accomplished that maybe you couldn't do on the forefront with Trump, or maybe you want to do on the forefront with, maybe you want to do this through Trump. However, you would never be vocally expressive to say that you would vote for Trump, and saying that voting for Kanye now makes you look a little bit cooler, makes you look a little bit more free, makes you look a little bit more, I don't know, to me, just a little bit more ignorant. No diss to anybody that's voting for Kanye, but yeah, it's a diss. You look a little ignorant. You look a little bit distracted from what's going on, the real situation. You don't look a little bit serious, and you don't look committed. You don't look consistent to what's happening right now. And if I'm wrong, show me where Kanye has come out to be consistent, and persistent towards the work and duties that involve civil work in this country. The duties that involve humanitarian just work in this country and efforts on a consistent yearly in and out basis, not just moments right here and there. On a consistent basis, you show me that, and I'll take all this back. But I'm just going through the facts right now. I'm just going through the facts, and that's that. All right. So on October 11th, 2018, yeah, we're going through this. We're going to go up to all 2020 because this is important. We cannot fool around with this. This is not time for games. West and Trump meet again, but this time at the White House. This time the bromance starts to really brew up as West sat down with Trump in the Oval Office to discuss his wife's previous visit, if you can recall, Kim K, when she asked Trump to grant first-time nonviolent drug offender Alice Johnson clemency. Now, this was very nice of her, and I'm very appreciative. Can we keep up with Alice Johnson, see how she's doing? I want to make sure that was interesting. That was interesting, and that was great that she was able to do that. He then discussed one of his Yeezy partnership with Adidas, the murder rate in Chicago, his hometown, and how to improve local crime prevention, the 13th Amendment, and the superpowers his MAGA hat gives him. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this. See, that's what I'm saying. Maybe Kanye supporters just don't know. And you know what? Maybe you just don't know. And that's why I'm here to provide this information. This is what he said in quotes. They tried to scare me to not wear this hat. My own friends. But this hat, it gives me power. In a way, West told the president. It was, in quotes, it was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's why that's my favorite that's what he says, my favorite superhero, and you made a Superman cape. This is 2 years ago. This is 2 years ago, Kanye supporters, that he was wearing this hat. I want to ask you, as we do our research, to one of the points of civics for the culture is talk about history, talk about our time, how we've had to rise and keep rising and keep rising. When has America been great? Seriously, I want you, if you're a person of color right now, I want you to ask, at what point in this history of this land would you want to go back to rather than the time of right now? I'm going to tell you right now is the perfect time to be living a person of color. Yeah, shit is dangerous, but it's exciting at the same time because we got so much opportunity to really crack the glass and bust out of this, like really make some ground movements happen more than ever. So when has America been great? For white people, I guess you can wear the hat, and you have a lot of reasons to say make America great again. But for black people, you explain that to me. We had the Harlem Renaissance, yeah. But I mean, you look at what's going on now, it's a different type of Renaissance. It's a more powerful Renaissance ever before, with more opportunities to kind of get through and change this system. So while your MAGA hat is a cape, it's also the new Confederate flag. And I'm just going to leave it there. April 15th, 2020, West reveals if and who he's voting for during the 2020 election in his GQ cover story. So while gracing the May cover GQ, He said, I'm not going to be told by the people around me and the people that have their agenda. I'm not going to be told by the people around me and the people that have their agenda that my career is going to be over, because guess what? I'm still here. Jesus is king and was number one. He's talking about basically, oh, I'm definitely voting this time, and we know who I'm voting on. I guess he's alluding to Trump. Yeah. So when he ends it with, guess what? I'm still here, and Jesus King was number one. Once again, you're going back to your stats. You're going back to your fame. He goes right here. I was told my career would never end if I wasn't with her. I was told my career would end if I wasn't with her. What kind of campaign is that anyway? I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about right here. That's one of the Kanye's rants and his quotes right here. So, I mean, here we are. Here we are, April 15th, 2020. He reveals, hey, you know who I'm going to vote for. And I'm not going to let my people around me tell me that my career is going to end if I vote for said person. Now, he's been on the record before of who he would vote for. So I guess we only have one assumption who we may vote for the same person that's constantly gone out on a consistent trend of how they're going to treat people of this country, be it anybody at this point. And then on July 4th, he officially announces he's running for president 2020 race. All right, so there we go. Kanye, I don't know if you have a push to fight for the civil just how can I even say this? I don't know if you have a fight to fight for civil rights for celebrities or for black people, honestly. Because when I listen to you, when I hear you, when I listen to your rants and everything, you talk a lot about just the issues that you go through with being in fame. You talk about a lot of the issues you go through as being a celebrity. You talk about a lot of the struggles and anxiety and mental that comes with. But what about being black? Have you forgotten that? You know, civic leadership is not just a political leadership. Civic leadership is not just political leadership. That's right now. Civic leadership is just starting groundwork movement. When you look at Obama, that's why I had to read that before he was president, because there's work, and there's real work that happens in the system before you just become president. So when you're in this system, what are you doing before you get in there, other than just making a fire ass song? Thank you. In 2004, other than in 2005 calling out the president at that time. I mean, you made a brash statement, but then what's the work to follow that? You know, what's the work to follow that? That's where I'm at, really. You know, when you say I don't have all the answers, but I know that if I work with the best of class, with the idea of empathy, the human race, that idea of a power struggle between who's Republican, who's Democrat, who said this, who that, but rather more, what is the principles that can collectively come together? You said that. I will give you that. He said that we can start with America and bring together the best of all skill sets. Oh man, I give you another 5 points. I give you another 5 points for that. However, that starts right now. That starts with the education and pouring that education, pouring the movements out now. Yes, it takes money. Yes, it takes capital, but it also takes the right strategies to come together and to actively put things together on the forefront. Just pouring money places without actual structure is just, what are we really doing? What is the game plan? What is your game plan when you have to face Congress and they're not going to pass your bills? Donald Trump, President Trump has appointed, and the Senate has confirmed 194 Article 3 federal judges through May 1st, 2020. In his fourth year of office. This is the second most Article 3 judicial appointments made through this point in all presidencies, tongue-tied, since Jimmy Carter. The Senate has confirmed 208 of Carter's appointees at this time. So it's the second most. So when we talk about those judges that you're gonna have to work with, when we talk about these are court of appeals judges, you know, I'm curious on your play. I'm curious on your play, because when you talk about the different judges, when you talk about the different things you're gonna have to deal with in Congress, I'm just curious on what's your game plan. That's just me. That's just me, because this isn't time to play. This isn't time to, I mean, we have your Supreme Court justices that you're gonna have to deal with. When you have your district court judges, you're gonna have to deal with your senior judges. I mean, these are different people. They're gonna look at you and they're probably gonna laugh, Kanye, be real with you. They're probably just going to laugh. And that's the truth, because you had someone like Barack Obama in office that could barely get anything passed, had struggles. Just because you Kanye, this is gonna come through unless y'all working together. And then does that really help us as people of color? So people that are voting for Kanye, I really want you to ask yourself, what am I voting for? Who am I voting for? As we should do with everybody. We should do this with everybody. However, this right now is a moment for us to not get distracted, to keep our hands on deck, stay focused, stay educated, stay learning, keep learning, and doing the work. We don't have time for people that choose moments to do the work. We don't have time for people that choose that just want to use their platforms to build their platforms. This is a time for us to build our generations. And that takes people that really want to get dirty and that really want to get their hands dirty and that really have been putting in the work, consistent over time and committed to the work of civil rights and the civil fight here in this country. So I'm not saying that you Kanye fans are ignorant, but I'm saying this is an ignorant choice. And let's be wise about the decisions we make. No one is perfect. However, we should be smart on who we choose and wise on what we do. Till next time, this is tuned into Civics for the Culture. Your host, Bennie, aka Poetically Williams, right here on Watch LOTUS X. And much love.